Hello, everybody. My name is Rosa Jimenez. I am a member of St. Thomas Aquinas Church here in the Diocese of Charlotte. I first would like to thank Father God for the opportunity to have this video. We will have it in Spanish as well at the end. I've been teaching Bible classes among the Hispanic community for more than 15 years. I've been teaching Bible classes, apologetics classes, formation classes, leading retreats. And I never thought I was going to have to make a video like this. Certainly, these are times that are very different for all of us. This is something foreign for all of us, the way that we are to live the faith these days. But at the same time, I think, and after reflecting a lot, after the shocking days of knowing that we were not going to be able to go to Mass, receive communion, go to adoration chapel, and in particular case, not to be able to have the classes, have meetings, teach faith formation classes. After all that and the pain that I felt in my heart, and I'm pretty sure that all of you felt in your hearts, I think that the Lord is calling each one of us to something completely different. I think this is the first time that we are living as Catholics a real Lent. And then if we see the entire world is living Lent, the entire world is being called by the Lord, by God, to stop doing the things that we've been doing daily for so long, that have become a routine, and perhaps even including our faith, the way that we've been living it. I think that this time is the opportunity to really become real saints in this new age. I think we probably most of us have read a lot about the life of the saints. We have felt inspired by the things that they did at the time. Sometimes we probably will wonder how they did that, what they had in their hearts, in their minds, that helped them become so many obstacles in their faith. Well, here we are, and we are being called to become the saints of this new time, this new age, and in the midst of the difficulties that we are going through. Several things that I've been thinking, meditating, and that I've been telling my students is that we have to remember that Our Lady is with us. She is the model for us. We have to remember that in the midst of everything that she lived, that she went through, even when she saw her son suffering, and especially now that we're about to enter Holy Week, we have to look at her and try to imitate what she did. She was always in prayer and in silence. She never lost the peace that she had in her heart. Why? Because she always had Jesus. She always heard him. She always walked with him. He was always with her and her with him. So I think that for all of us that are now confused, perhaps some may be angry, and wondering what are we going to do, we have to go back to all those times that we have the opportunity to go to Mass, to receive the Lord, to really get really close to that precious sacrament that we have, and the times that we felt how the Lord was really getting into our souls and into our hearts. If we receive the Lord as we were supposed to, those graces are still in our hearts. All those communions that we receive, all those graces are still there. And this is the time when we have to ask Our Lady to help us look into our hearts and in our souls for all those graces. Now that we are going through this, now that we cannot be close to the Lord, now that we cannot go to Mass, this is the time where we can become real Catholics. This is the time where we can really imitate Our Lady. This is the time where we can really go beyond the things that we have done in the past, to really be a light, to really shine in the darkness of this world. The world needs real Catholics, real Christians, and we are the ones. It happens to be that it is you and me, all of us, our families, the ones who are going to bring that light into the world. So I think that it is really providential that everything that is happening right now, it is happening during Lent, that we have been called by the Lord, not by anybody else. We'll probably be blaming the government. We'll probably be blaming a country for everything that is happening to us. We'll probably be blaming bishops, the Pope, our priest. There's no one to blame. The Lord has allowed this time for us in His mercy so that we can really become real Catholics, so that we can really look into our hearts and our souls and find right there where the problem is. It is not to blame anybody. It is just the mercy of the Lord. It is the mercy of God that it is calling in all of us to something greater. I think that this is the time that we can really become saints. This is the time where we can really shine with the light of the Eucharist in our hearts and in our souls to all those who are living in darkness. Yes, it is very difficult not to be able to go to church. Yes, it is very difficult not to be able to receive communion. Yes, but this is not the first time that the church has gone through something like this. And the complaining and the demanding that we are doing is not helping at all. Just remember and think for a moment that this is a time when we are reading history in the church. Probably in 50, 60, 100 years, somebody will be reading about this time, year 2020, and what the Catholics did at the time. So if we think what they will be talking about us, we probably will start changing the way that we are praying, the way that we are looking at things. We will start stop complaining and start working more in the domestic church. This is the time where the Lord is telling all of us, go back to the roots. Go back to your heart, your soul. Look inside you, what is wrong, what you haven't been doing correctly, and amend for that. And then he's calling us, all of us, to look at the domestic church, the things that we haven't done before. This is the opportunity for the father, the head of the house, to really be the priest of the house, bringing all the family together in prayer, for all of us women to support the husbands, for all those who are married, to support the husbands in prayer, to bring the children closer to God. Perhaps the way that sometimes the children behave at church, or just the laziness that they feel in their hearts towards the things of the faith, is because we haven't done what we were supposed to do in our home. So the Lord has forced us, all of us, to be at home, to take care of what is most important first in the domestic church, what is in our hearts. And perhaps he's doing the same thing, I believe, with our priest, because this is the time where they really need to listen to the voice of God, so that when the time comes, hopefully soon, that we will be able to reunite in his house, in his temple, with all of us. We're going to be completely different. Our faith is going to shine in a different way. The priest will be able to recognize what is it that moved them to this vocation. What is it that they are to do? That they are to bring us God, that they are to bring us the Lord, but also to take each one of us to him. Sometimes when we get too busy and caught up in the busyness of the days and the activities that we have, we perhaps missed the main point, the focus of what we're doing. Us as parents, because sometimes we think that what is most important is to take the kids to different games, to different practices, but we don't really worry or concern about their faith, the moral teachings that we are to live in the heart and in the mind of our children. And perhaps the priest sometimes can get really tired as well, with all of us who complain all the time, and they have forgotten that they need to teach us how to behave in church, how to approach the sacraments, how to really become saints. So this is an opportunity that God, I see it the way, is giving to all of us to really become saints. If we want a holy church, we are to become holy in the domestic church. If the priests want holy people, they need to become holy as well. So instead of complaining, instead of demanding, because this is not, the Eucharist is not a right, it is a privilege that we have as Catholics, instead of doing all that, why don't we start praying more? Let's ask Our Lady to help us, especially now that we're about to enter in the mysteries of this Holy Week. Let's accompany Our Lady. Let's ask her to show us the way in silence and perhaps on our knees, kneeling, praying, and instead of demanding, this is the time to recognize and say, yes, oh Lord, it is my fault. Yes, oh Lord, I haven't done what I've been supposed to do for all this time as a Catholic, as a baptized Christian, with all the sacraments and all the graces. And have in mind that there's always people looking at us. There's always eyes looking at us. The eyes of our children, the eyes of our family members, the eyes of all those who probably left the church, the eyes of our neighbors, co-workers. There are many eyes that are looking right now, all of us Catholics, and the way that we are responding to this. Perhaps this is the opportunity to really bring more people to the feet of the Lord through the example, through the prayers, to the docility to the Holy Spirit, to obedience to what we have been told that we are to do. Perhaps this is the opportunity that the Lord wants to use for each one of us to really do our part, so that one day we can really be one in Him, one in one faith, one baptism, one Lord, one church, one flag. So I wish all of you a very holy week, but mainly very fruitful Holy Week. Saint Joseph is also with us. For us here in the Diocese of Charlotte, we have the blessing of having this year consecrated to Saint Joseph. It's the year of Saint Joseph. And oh boy, I think he really wants to teach us a lot of things throughout this year. Perhaps we've been too focused about the coronavirus and all these things that are going around that are important, yes, to be aware of those things that are happening right now, but we cannot stop focusing on our faith. Let's all recur to Saint Joseph. He has so much to teach all of us, all and each one of us, so much to teach us, also in silence. Yes, also in silence. And I am the first one who have to say that I love to talk and teach, but I have recognized that I do need also to have a lot of moments in silence. That is not about what I say, it is about what the Lord wants to say and He wants me to do. So hopefully we will be able to have another video, and may the Lord bless you greatly, each one of you, and the Eucharistic heart of Jesus may always enkindle in each one of your hearts the graces, the flames of that Eucharistic love, His Sacred Heart, of each one of the Eucharists that you have received. May the Lord bless you, guide you, and take care of each one of you. Thank you.